Hello everyone, my name is Amber Allen and I'm the Information Services Librarian, and today I'm going to give you a brief overview of a couple of resources that I recommend you use to help you with your MLA citations. So think of creating a citation as plugging in pieces into a formula, because there are certain patterns that these citations follow using these pieces of information. So this resource is one of my favorites to recommend because this university updates these every time that a new citation style edition comes out. So this is current according to the 9th edition of MLA. And if you look through, it gives you some information on what to do when you have however many authors, if the author's an organization, if there's no author, or if there are editors but no author. What to do with the title of the source, what to do with the title of the container, which is just a way to say the source, the different types of contributors and how to format those, what to do when there are different versions or editions, volume numbers, things like that, publishers, publication dates, locations, and these are all within examples that you'll see on this chart. Okay, so this is what you'll primarily be looking at. The first thing that you need to figure out is what type of source are you using. Is it a book? Is it an ebook? Is it a website? Is it a journal article? And the good thing about if you use Galileo is it's going to tell you what type of resource that you're using, in case you're not sure. So if you'll take a look at my Galileo tutorial video, you'll see where you can find that information. But for each of these examples, it gives you, one, the page number in the MLA handbook where this information can be found, an example of the works cited entry as it would look on, your works cited page, and then how your in-text citation would look, which I know is the main thing that a lot of people are concerned about. So let's scroll through a little bit. And some of you might end up using poems, and in that case, you cite the lines, but you only mention the word lines the first time you do that in-text citation, and then after that you just use the last name and the line number. So, a little bit of an interesting thing there. Journal article format, and it goes on and on and on throughout all these different types. Even statues, films, music scores, speeches, you can cite pretty much any and everything. Social media posts, video games, different types of art pieces. It's kind of interesting how many different things that they've come up with a citation style for. In general, your in-text citation is going to be the last name of the creator and a page number, but as you can see, it varies. If it's a video, you're going to want to include the time that you're quoting from, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, this resource is really a great one because it has such a variety of information, and it covers most of the basic citation styles, citation types, of sources that you'll be using. Another thing that I recommend is the Purdue OWL website, and I'm on this page specifically, the in-text citations basics, because it can be tricky to figure out how to include those citations in your sentences. Also, just keep an eye out for ads here, you'll have to keep closing out of those. So most of the time people would follow this sort of format. You'll mention the author's last name, they stated, some of your words, and then to introduce the quote, and then whatever you're directly quoting. When you're doing that quote, you cannot change the words that you're quoting from there. As in, you couldn't replace this word with one that you wanted to use there instead and still count that as being part of the quote. If you're quoting from that source, you have to quote exactly, or paraphrase, rephrase, or something like that. But just know that if it's in quotation marks, it needs to be exactly as it looks in the work itself. And then they've included the page number there. A different way to do that is to, use your words to introduce it, include the quote, and then put the author's last name and page number there at the end. So you don't have to mention the author. Just know that there are many, many ways that you can do those in-text citations, and the more you do these papers and assignments and use these citations, the more you'll figure out what you like to do. But I just wanted to make sure that you have some examples to use in the meantime. This would be an example if you paraphrased and rephrased that information and then just included the page number there at the end. Then that's okay too. That's another option. This site's great because it gives you some explanations. The point of a citation is to tell people what resource on your works cited page this information came from, and if there's a page number or other identifying information, where in that source the information has come from, so they can track it down. There's some more examples for sources with known authors. I'm not going to spend too much time here because you'll probably want to have this open and go back and forth as you're trying to do these citations. There's even options for if you have a work that does not have a known author, which may happen sometimes, particularly with websites. A lot of times you'll be able to see a title for the article on the website, title of the website. You'll have the date you accessed it, but you may not have a date that it was published on the website, and you may not have an author. Just a couple more examples. Now, something tricky is when you do have an author with the same last name. If you get to the point where that happens, then you'll include the first initial of each author in the in-text citations. Because on your works cited page, they'll be together. So this person would be listed first because their last name starts with an A, or their first name starts with an A, and then this person would be listed after that because theirs starts with an R. So if the person has this information, someone reading your paper, they can find that and see which of those sources this particular piece came from and which source this particular piece came from. Multiple authors, multiple works by the same author, in citing the Bible. There's even, indirect sources. I mean, there's really just a lot of information out there, which can be very overwhelming, but don't worry, that's what I'm here for. So if you have questions and you need some help, please, please, please reach out, and I can help you figure out how to do those in-text citations and how to do those works cited citations. And just to quickly go over what's available on this website. So this is what this piece of the website looks like. If you look down here, there's information on all kinds of stuff. You've got APA style information, but what we're looking at right now is MLA. And just for MLA, you've got an introduction, overview, the style guide, including all of this information, general format, in-text citations, how to cite electronic sources, how to cite books. There's a sample works cited page that you may want to take a look at. There's also a sample paper that has examples of in-text citations, how you format your paper. It includes a works cited page at the end, and it's something that I personally have continued to go back to use personally and to show, to students as well. So yeah, check this site out and the other one, this handout that I'll include a link to, because I think they'll both be really helpful. And like I said, if you have any other questions or any of this is confusing, please reach out and I'll be more than happy to help.